Hey guys, Gavin here, and I am here this morning. I've got Ammon Bundy. There's a protest going on down at the ranch today. I've also got Ammon Bundy. He called me and he wanted to get some information out to you guys. He wants to share some thoughts with you on the federal lands, and just going to be, I think, a really good little constitutional education with some good info from Ammon. So I'm going to pass this off to Ammon, get the word out, and share this. I'm just kind of the intermediator here, getting him out, and I think I've got Ammon set up so you can all hear him. So, Ammon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks, Gavin.
Awesome. Okay, well, it's all yours.
Yeah, I'd like to just comment on President Obama's actions in declaring two national monuments just 22 days before he leaves office. And as you most likely are aware of, one monument's in Utah, the Bears Ears, and the other's in Nevada, Gold Butte, and that monument does cover the Bundy Ranch, at least most of the range of the Bundy Ranch. And so, first of all, I'd like to ask, where does President Obama get his authority to declare land inside a state as a monument? I read Article 2 of the United States Constitution again this morning, and Article 2 is what grants the president his powers, and nowhere does it even come close to giving executive power to the president to declare land as a national monument. So I have to ask, and I think you need to ask that, and conclude, I guess, that President Obama has given this power to himself. And it appears that he's cunningly usurped this power from the people. Now, for 30 years, the federal agencies, such as the Bureau of Land Management, have positioned themselves that they own the open lands in the West. And they say this because Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution gives Congress power to dispose of and make all needful rules respecting the territories. However, this claim is ridiculous because a state is not a territory. It is a state. But even if you want to take this argument and say that it has some legitimacy, it only gives Congress power, not the president. So as Congress was to declare some of the western lands as a monument, and for the sake of the same ridiculous argument as mentioned, have a tainted stand. But the president is pulling this monument, declaring power out of thin air, with no basis other than just being the president. And if it's the Antiquities Act where President Obama thinks he's getting his power, then I have another question I'd like to ask, and that is, how can Congress, or how can a Congress, which receives their power from the Constitution, give the president power that the Constitution does not allow? Congress cannot give power that they do not have or hold themselves, nor can the president take power that he has no authority to receive. So it appears our government is acting outside the Constitution once again, and we must stop it. The Constitution is the law, and we cannot be a free people, with a lawless government. And government must follow the law, and that is the Constitution. If the Constitution does not give authority to the federal government or the states, then those governments have no authority to act, including the president. And just want to emphasize this by bringing attention to the 10th Amendment. And it reads, "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution are reserved to the states respectively or to the people." And then the 9th Amendment is even stronger, and it reads, "The enumerations or powers in this Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people." The President of the United States does not have power to make monuments. It is against the Constitution and therefore against the laws and the people. We, the American people, must act to enforce the charter that helps keep us free. We must not allow these monuments to take place. The President's declaration of monuments is an arbitrary, unlawful act against many families, and it destroys livelihoods of the people across the counties. and it must not be allowed. So if I could, I would like to make another couple points, or at least one more point, and then explain what these monuments are really all about. And that is, this point I'd like to make is in Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution, and it reads, "The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government." Now, this clause was intended to ensure that people have and keep the right to make their decisions locally, particularly on a state and a county level. When the local land and resources are controlled by bureaucrats that live and work thousands of miles away in Washington, D.C., it destroys our republican form of government. It makes the local people servants and not free men. The people are dictated to and have no say in matters of their own backyards. And this also must stop. We need and have control and be in control of locally of our lands. Freedom is simple, and I just want you to think about this question. Are we as a free-minded people accepting the idea that the land and resources belong to a central governing people and not to the local people? Central government owning and controlling land and resources is the very act of communism. I mean, communism is when a small group of people in government control the property and the people are not allowed. Is that not what's happening with these monuments? And acts like declaring monuments are exactly how the wicked gain control of the people. They manipulate control of the land and resources and then ration the people. So they manipulate the control of the land and resources and then ration the people into poverty, turning them into beggars and to those that have power and control. And I'm not talking radically. I'm talking historically. Acts such as centralizing control of the resources, keeping them from the people, are the types of acts that put the Russian people in absolute despotism for over 75 years. The Russian oligarchy, by brute force, reserved the natural resources for themselves, forcing the people into extreme poverty. And over 22 million men, women, and children died of starvation. In fact, those in power were feeding good wheat to their pigs, while children down the street suffered death without even a crumb to eat. The Russian people were not free, and neither are we if we do not have control of our land and resources. I would like to challenge you to name one thing that you own, you eat, you wear, you drive, you live in, or you benefit from that did not come from the land. Because if you control the land and resources, you control everything that people need to live, and that's ultimate control. And so we need to drop the naivety. We need to act now and protect ourselves before it is too late. The battle for liberty is right here in our own land. It is right now. It is not in a foreign country across seas. It is in our own backyard. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. Let's stand. Now, to explain what monuments are really about, there is an enemy of freedom that has infiltrated our government, and many are being deceived that this enemy or into conservation. However, the design of this enemy is to control the massive wealth of the natural resources on and in the land. With this wealth and influence, they can place their own people in power at the heads of government agencies. Within these agencies, they can build up and equip standing forces. And these forces, cloaked in the color of law, can then bring down the will of this enemy upon the heads of the American people. We have only seen the beginning of this control, and it is funded by the enormous wealth derived from the land and resources. And they need to control the land and the resources in order to continue to fund themselves. So, and instead of the people providing for their families using the increase from the earth, the land and resources. These wicked men and women are taking the increases to pay for and build up forces so they can press their will upon the very people they plunder.
This call is from an inmate facility.
Now, this has happened many times in history. This is not something that's new. And my family and I are personal witnesses that this is occurring once again. And I'm speaking to you on a phone from a federal prison as proof that this is happening. So these acts of declaring a monument is just a front to centralize control of the land and natural resources. In every way, these acts are unconstitutional and therefore unlawful. Executive orders that are unlawful have no authority and must be stopped. If we are to restore liberty, then the Constitution and the principles of freedom must be enforced. And I personally call upon the state representatives, the county representatives, and mostly you, the people, to protect your right to live and to feed your families. George Washington, while being inaugurated as the first president of the United States, said this: "The propitious smiles of heaven can never be expected on a nation that disregards the eternal rules of order and rights which heaven itself has ordained. God has made it very clear in the scriptures and through his prophets that he created the earth for the use of man and commanded man to inhabit the land. The acts of making monuments so the people cannot use or inhabit the land is in direct opposition to the rules and order of heaven. Whether you like it or not, if you believe in the Bible, you must accept that I am speaking the truth. And I encourage you to go research this and to find out what God intended this earth for. And so I ask you and I implore upon you to let us align ourselves with the one who created this land and throw off the foolish precepts and deceptions of man. It is simple. The land belongs to the people to use and to benefit from."
You have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you. Thank you, Gavin.
Hey, do you want to call back, or is that all for now, or do you want to call back and keep going, Ammon?
No, that's
We covered it.
That's all I wanted to add. You know.
No, I think that was awesome. I mean, I think you're spot on, and the reality is, I mean, you know, the scripture's clear, our foundations are clear, and even for somebody that doesn't believe religiously as me or you does, it's just these are fundamental human rights.
Yeah, the land and they're for the benefit of man, not for government to take and to build up armies and to oppress and reign with blood and horror upon the earth.
Yeah. Okay, well, hey, that was awesome. You can call back if you want, or I'll wrap it up here, but you got good viewers. I think you're gone now, but we'll see if he calls back. I'll keep the stream going here for just a couple minutes, guys, and but I think that was really cool. Ammon, when he speaks about these things, about the Constitution, it's just it's really blessed. Ammon has a way of always being kind of calm. I don't always do that, but it's really good. So if you're just tuning in, as soon as this finishes, go back and watch. I mean, we've got some visual aids that we brought in here, and it was kind of on the fly, pointing it at the screen. But I was talking to Ammon. I thought, well, what if we just do this live? So if you guys liked this, let us know. And thanks, Sean. And we'll see what we can do, because rather than just looking at these slideshows that we make up of the audio after the fact, I thought let's actually look at the texts while we're doing this. Let's talk about it and see how it goes. So please get this out, guys, and spread the word. Educate people. These aren't national monuments. They're just made up things of government, and it's not about us not valuing the land. They always want to make it about the conservation and the land, like Ammon said, but the ranchers are already doing that. They're already conserving the land. The government doesn't want to conserve this land, the federal government. So I'm not hearing back from Ammon. I'm thinking he's covered the bases. I know they take them and they make them sit on their beds for like an hour at like 10 o'clock Nevada time, just because everything's control and enslavement in this country. So I'm going to wrap this up. Say a prayer for our political prisoners across the nation, and I hope that justice will be done. Hopefully there's a good showing down there at the ranch today, at the protests. Maybe some of you can make it down there, and just keep up the fight. And I'll let Ammon know that you guys enjoyed this as soon as I talk to him again. Have a good day.